This podcast is brought to you by Paramount Plus and by the Big Bat Box.
The Final Frontier podcast. These are the voyages of Jake Boger and Justin Spur. Our weekly mission to explore memories of Star Trek's strange new worlds, to recall the search for new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has had the spare time to go before.
Those were some tight leather pants, man. Oh boy.
Not to mention wholly impractical in their environment, but they got the message across, did they not?
Did they not? They did. Oh boy, this episode's problematic. Welcome to Star Trek, everybody.
Welcome to the Final Frontier. Perfect. And you don't know what we said before, so that's
No.
just our little secret. Although I think you'll have some idea as we get into this.
I have less crass versions of the thing I just said that they won't hear.
Yeah, they'll hear the less crass versions.
Yeah, they're gonna hear the less crass version. They won't hear the crass version of what I just said.
Is it sad that when you said we have to get the crass thing out of the way, I thought you were talking about the Klingon?
That's funny.
Because like I literally, his name's not Crass, but it's he's not named in the script. But I mean, I'm sorry, he's not named in the show, but he is named in the script, and I know that it's.
That's funny. Is his name actually Crass? That's funny.
Actually now I have to look that up because I was like,
his name is actually Crass. That is going to be very funny.
that's the name of the Klingon in.
You can't. See, back in the day when I was a kid, you'd be able to say that, but
War. If his name's Crass, I'm just going to Klingon. Krell.
Close.
Crass that just sounds Klingon, right?
It does. It just sounds
Klingon.
See, Crass, but it also sounds like it could possibly be like Krill, in the sense that like it's a parody of a Klingon name.
I feel like there was a Klingon named Crass.
I think he was
the one in Friday's Child.
Was he? That's also funny.
Oh, okay. In the Star Trek Enterprise episode Judgment, there is a Klingon captain named Crass.
That is very funny.
So I knew. So when we get to Enterprise, we will recircle. Now it's time to say the Crass thing. Captain Crass.
Yes. Captain Crass thing. It's 2026. You have to clarify every joke that is clearly a joke.
Oh no! See, I'm too old school for that. I leave it to the audience because most of you, not you, but most of you are smart enough to understand humor.
Humor. Like I'm just about to put up a video about God's Not Dead, and the title was God's Not Dead, but this movie made me wish I was. And I was like, I need to, and then I was like, oh, but if every time I say a joke like that, everyone goes, are you okay? And so I know I'm fine. It was a joke. It's a joke.
It's just a joke. This episode, however, is not, because we are talking about Star Trek, the original series, Season 2, Episode 19, A Private Little War. And this episode takes place between stardates 4211.4 and 4211.8. The in-universe date is still the year 2268, and the original air date for this episode was February 2nd, 1968.
Oh, okay. We're in the new year. We're in the new year.
Love is in the air.
Is that what we're calling it?
Technically, it's in the plant, but we'll get there.
I would have called it. I would have said, "Oh, dang it! This joke only works if." God, what's it called? You know that drug that they give people when? What is it? What is it called? Oh,
roofies.
Thank you. The roofies are in the air tonight. Is what I would have said. But what's the fancy name for roofies though?
I don't know. It's like
Ruffalo,
but it always makes me think
is
of
in the air tonight.
It always makes me think of Mark Ruffalo, and there is no logical reason as to why that does that to my brain.
That would be Ruffalin. The only reason I know what Ruffalin is because of of Hangover, where it's the Black
Oh,
Doug being like, Rooflin, I don't know what no Rooflin is. That's my bad, Alan.
I thought you were gonna say Law and Order, but
That's all. Okay, we went in drastically different directions there.
it's going to be one of those episodes. However, this
Yep.
episode is written by Gene Roddenberry with an asterisk because it is based on a story written by Don Ingalls with significant rewrites to the point that Gene Roddenberry gets a writing credit, and Don Ingalls appears under a pseudonym for this episode because he objected so heavily to Roddenberry's rewrites. And believe it or not, Roddenberry's rewrites
Huh.
improved on this script. I'm not going to lie.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
Really? Because this is kind of not great. And
It's
knowing that it was written by Gene Roddenberry gives me pause for concern about his thought process, I suppose. As it just made you say it was a pseudonym because I was like, that is an in when it showed the name of the other writer of the other of the oh my gosh of the other writer. That was hard to say for some reason. It was like incomprehensible name. I was like, I don't even know how to begin to pronounce that.
Yeah. So is she sells by the seashore. I see. I screwed it up.
That she sells. She's nope, can't do it.
And I do want to apologize up front, and I'm sure because at the time of recording this, the episode I'm about to reference has not been released yet because it was last week. But last week, when we were having Justin guess what we would see, I made mention of Kirk reading the preamble to the Constitution of the United States. I got the episode mixed up, but when we get there, you'll see why because they're similar aesthetically.
You know what's funny? It's speaking as referencing a previous episode. I think this has come out. Yeah. No, wait, yeah, no, yeah. The piece of the action has come out. Yes, it has. Um, I when I was trying to guess the plot of a piece of the action, I said that Kirk gets taken out by something, and Bones has to be like, "You can't do it, Captain." It turns out I was a couple episodes off.
Yeah, you were almost a dead ringer, but just different
I
episode.
know when it happened in this, I was like, "Huh." I can't. Turns out I was too soon. I was ahead of my time.
Well, but speaking of what happens, Justin, would you like to grace us with the Paramount Plus description as brought to you by Paramount Plus?
God, I would because last week, Jake, you mentioned Vietnam. You were like, this is very specifically. So obviously, my note is Kirk becomes involved in an arms race. I can see why you compared this to Vietnam. But then I said, but also, I also would have taken the Korean War, the Iran-Contra affair. Man, America does sure seem to do this a lot.
Episode is oddly relevant, isn't it?
It's just perpetually relevant.
It's almost like they keep doing the same things over and over again.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
Jordan the previous week was like, he watched Argo and he went, I did not do that intentionally. And I went, oh, yeah.
No, but Argo's seriously like I love that movie. I know some people hate it, but
How
dude,
could you? How
dude,
could you?
dude. Okay, here's the thing. I think people hate it until they realize that that actually happened.
Yeah, it did.
They
I mean, it
made a
was,
fake movie, guys.
they
It's
absolutely
awesome.
did, yeah. And it only well, when that movie had come out, it was like recently declassified.
Yeah, well, I guess they didn't make a fake movie, but they said they were gonna make a.
Yeah. Yeah, good movie. Solid movie. Oddly relevant.
Well, our story begins with the Enterprise orbiting the planet Neural, a primitive world that Captain Kirk has visited before, and this planet also looks suspiciously like Southern California.
I didn't make a note of that, but I had the same thought. I was like, how many times can I be like, this sure looks like Southern California?
I mean, how many episodes? Again, this is a joke. I'm not actually. I'm gently poking fun at a series from the 1960s. How many alien planets are going to look like Southern California and have people that look suspiciously like people you would find in Southern California?
I was gonna say it's another tribe of Donald Trump people.
that's that's you, Mar-a-Lago. Welcome to the planet Mar-a-Lago.
I rub the stuff on them and they consent. It's kind of like Spanish fly. Giving them the Spanish fly.
On the planet, Kirk and Spock notice a group of villagers apparently preparing an ambush. Kirk is surprised to see them with firearms, and their quarry seems to be a group of hill people, one of whom, Tyree, Kirk recognizes. Forbidden to use phasers, Kirk throws a rock toward the villagers, causing one of their guns to go off, which alerts the hill people to their presence. A chase ensues, and Spock is shot. Now, Justin, we're going to get started early with this one, but it's just how the cookie crumbled. We're going to, right out of the gate, first of all, we're going to ask everybody to please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already, because the channel be growing, but it could be growing faster.
Likes help more than you realize. Even like 2 or 3 likes for a small channel like us, it jumps up our numbers like crazy. It does nothing for you and it helps us out a ton. And it's free. Doesn't cost you any money.
100% free. And I'm quoting a comment we got. This is not me talking. We should have more subscribers.
We should have more. I'm not the only one saying that. The audience is saying that.
There's a lot of people who are telling me, they're like, I can't believe you guys don't have more subscribers. And like, again, that's not just me being like, our show is pretty good, even though.
I mean, who's that? I mean, come on.
It's up there. It's up there.
Ring the bell so that you know every time a new one comes out.
Oh, yes. And also, if you haven't put it together already, our episodes are now premiering on Fridays, not Sundays, because I have a new job and my new schedule. It's easier to premiere it on Fridays.
That makes sense.
To get the old editing done, because this show takes a long time to edit.
That's fair. That's totally fair. I get that. I
relate. We do it for you.
We do it for you, the audience, and a little bit for us.
Okay, yeah, I mostly do it. I mean, there are very few shows that I edit. Probably Weekly Wrestling Wrap-Up in this, where I'm audibly laughing as I edit it.
Yeah, that's the same. This is the only show I do that I watch, so you know.
That is a good point. I watched in its entirety, which I've already seen each episode because I edit it, but I watched in its entirety the edited A Wolf in the Fold episode we did, and I laughed. The piglet gags are much funnier in real time.
I'm just saying, it's funny. There's just certain times where I make myself laugh.
But we're also here to talk to you about the mountain of entertainment, the streamiest of all streaming services. One might say that content overfloweth on Paramount Plus.
Our streameth cup runneth over.
But in a good way, because none of it's wasted.
But like a good way.
I mean, I guess a cup runneth over.
I mean, that's not in and of itself a bad thing.
No, only if you're like a minimalist, but those guys don't want Paramount Plus. They want a smidgen of entertainment. Paramount gives you a mountain. And here is a sneak peek of one of the many, many shows, movies, one of the many pieces of entertainment that you can find.
Quality programming.
On Paramount Plus.
Meanwhile, on Paramount Mountain.
All right, let's do this roll call. It's freezing up here. Blase. Where you at, Blase?
It's Blaze.
Okay, so that's how it's gonna be.
Blaze?
So y'all wanna play, huh? Well, guess what? I'm not animated. I'm for real. Where is Big Naughty? Is Big Naughty up in here?
It's Nate?
Say your name right.
Nate.
Naughty.
Nate.
Naughty.
Nate.
Say it right.
Naughty.
That's better. Be Louie.
Do you mean Blue?
Okay. You wanna go to war? You prefer not to go to war? Me too. Ridiculous. K-Room?
It's Chrome.
Oh, is it? I got my eye on you. Dara.
Soy Dora!
Come on! Hey, Ron.
Here, Coach.
Thank you. Where's Bumbly Bay at? Is Bumbly Bay up in here?
Once back aboard the Enterprise, Spock is taken to sickbay. Sensors detect a Klingon vessel in orbit around the planet, and Kirk suspects the Klingons of having supplied the firearms to the villagers.
Thing from the beginning, they mentioned they're like, this place is mostly perfect except for the Mugato. They're that one thing, the Mugato. Everything else perfect. So my first question was, is the Mugato Bigfoot? Put a pin in that. Then I said, I won't lie. When the description mentioned an arms race, I was expecting something a tad more, bit more bigger than bows, arrows, and flintlock pistols. And then I just put it, when Spock got shot, I had a note that just says, "Oh shit, they shot Spock in the back like a bunch of filthy cowards. Only cowards shoot people in the back." And Spock, when he got shot, was like,
"That's not necessarily true. What if they're running away?"
Exactly. Yeah, you don't shoot someone who's running away.
Sure you do. Maybe they're No. Hear me out. They may be running for backup.
All right. Okay.
But, I mean, is it really that much better if they go, "Hey, Spock," and then when he turns around, they shoot him?
Shoot him in the face? I mean, that's certainly more honorable.
I don't know that the guy being shot necessarily cares.
would agree with that. I suppose that's true. And then I just had Spock is like bullets, my only weakness. Um, and then just a bunch of notes about flintlock pistols. Which, well, number one, Bones when he's like his heart is where his liver would be. I have so many questions about Vulcan anatomy now. So if his heart is where his liver should be, does that mean his gallbladder is where his spleen should be?
No, I think it's in his knee.
Is it in his knee?
I have no.
And what about the
fucking idea.
genitals? Are the genitals in the groin area, or is it
I
like his chest
believe
area?
no. I believe the genitals are universally in the upward
Triangle area.
Yeah, the triangle area. The
That
peak
makes sense.
The peak of the triangle. Well, I guess yeah, that would be. Would that be the hypotenuse?
I believe so. I believe so.
I don't know.
believe
We should ask Spock, and he'd be like, "Why do you want to know where my genitals are?" And we'd be
Right.
like, "Listen, we know it's illogical, but I mean,
I mean, we just. I'm not gonna lie to you, Spock. It's just rabid curiosity, and just getting shot by a flintlock pistol is a painful way to die. Like it sucks. It
slow,
sucks.
agonizing." But put a pin in that too, because I'm going to revisit that later.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that Spock and Bones get shot by the same gun. So
actually?
Yeah. Well, not necessarily the same gun, but the same kind of gun.
Wait, the Bones gets shot?
Oh yeah. Put a pin in
Huh.
it. We'll come back to it.
I don't remember Bones getting shot. Okay, yeah. Anyway, continuing on. That was it. That was my initial notes of this sequence.
The
There's more
only
coming.
thing I have is when Kirk does actually invite a debate on the bridge. They're saying things like it's 1,200 years between the forging of iron and firearms, and I'm like, actually, it's more like 3,000 years. But who's counting?
Who's counting? yeah. Who's counting?
I mean, I suppose. Well, no, actually, I looked this up and I said, okay, because at first I looked up, when they started forging iron, not the first time when it became commonplace,
Yeah.
which was the end of the Bronze Age, to when, like the flintlock musket was invented, and it was roughly. I think they said it was roughly 2,300, 2,500 years. And then I was like, okay, well, what about firearms in general? That was 2,500 to 3,000 years. So give or take, it's more like
Give or take.
2,500 years. But, again, who's counting? It could be different on other planets. Who knows? Turns out you're all very wrong. But, could have been.
It could have been.
Maybe
Could have
maybe the space Chinese people invented gunpowder on that planet like much faster. I don't know.
Wait, who's to say? Who's to say? I mean, it sure doesn't seem that way because they all seem like they're a pack of dummies. But who's to say?
Kirk returns to the planet with McCoy, both in native dress, to investigate. The two are attacked by an indigenous creature called a Mugato.
Oh my god, that's funny. I like it. That's funny. It's funny. I didn't think about that until I saw Mugato in my notes, and then I was like, that name reminds me of something. Right, Zoolander. I mean, I just have it's horny Bigfoot because of the horn. Because of the he got it. It scared the shit out of me. I won't lie. When it jumped out, I was like, oh jeez, where'd that thing come from?
Yeah, imagine how Captain Kirk felt.
I know. I was like, that's impressive. That's an impressive moment because I did not see it coming. My
question is, how does this society not have guns when that thing is out there?
Just randomly attacking you out of nowhere? Yeah, it seems like it's really hard to kill with bows and arrows.
I was going to say, I don't think bows and arrows are going to cut it. And also, on top of it being that, it's venomous?
It's also venomous somehow? Yeah. Also,
why?
I don't want to point out the weird illogicalness of their landing party outfit, but why are they wearing furry boots on a temperate climate planet? It was like those boots would be very warm. Really warm.
Why do women wear Ugg boots in the summer? Because they're cute, Justin. Okay.
I was just gonna say I just don't feel like Kirk and McCoy are concerned about fashion.
Oh, Kirk maybe. Bones definitely not.
Oh, no, you make a valid point. Kirk might be. He might be like, you know what? I'm going to sweat like in these boots, but they're going to look good, and that's what matters.
Those boots
that's really what matters here.
Those boots are made for walking, and they're going to do a lot of walking.
Oh, boy, howdy were they.
When the Mugato jumps out, I'm like, oh, okay, phasers are fine now, I assume.
Yeah, right. Oh no, phasers are okay. Also, it looks like a Power Rangers bad guy.
It
It's
does.
too bright. It's too brightly colored. It's just there's too much going on with it. Just like from a design and aesthetic standpoint. I don't know. I'm glad it wasn't the focal point of the episode because it would have been a problem for me. It's in 2 scenes and that's enough.
Yeah, and some fun facts about the Mugatu. It was designed by Janis Prohaska, who had also created the Horda in the episode The Devil in the Dark.
That
We
makes
talked
sense. It
about this.
has the absolute same design. What's the word I'm looking for? Not aesthetics, but like you could tell it's designed by the same person. It has the same uh, anyway, I'm on a podcast, I'm forgetting the word. But yeah, it has the same similar characteristics. There we go. That's what we're looking for.
Well, and Janice had previously owned the ape suit that was used, having acquired it from a previous film project, and he basically just added the spikes.
Of course he did. It's like, hey, I happen to have I happen to have this ape suit just in my closet. I have so many questions. I have a lot of questions. I did a movie once. I'm not weird.
Well, I mean, I still have a chimp mask from
That's
one
fair.
joke that was made at my wedding. Technically,
That's
we
funny.
have two, but it's a long story.
Hey, I mean, you guys get your mascot's a chimp in a suit. It'll come in handy one day, I'm sure.
That's what I said, but it really turns out my wife's just a big fan of Robbie Williams.
I mean, who wouldn't be?
I know, there are two of you that got that joke and probably live in the UK. It's
I
not
got
a
it.
joke, but it's true. The Mugatu bites Kirk with its venomous fangs before McCoy can kill it with his phaser. McCoy is unable to call for help as the Enterprise has left orbit to avoid detection by the Klingons. So, and there's also this really weird subplot that goes nowhere with Spock being hurt and in sickbay and like might die, but they don't treat it as anything very serious. But at one point, the Doctor tells Chapel to quote,
If he speaks, do whatever he says.
and that's just horrible medical advice.
I was gonna say that when he said that this episode was already problematic enough, so it didn't need a joke about Spock being like, you know what, Chapel Roan, you know what I need from this.
Ugh. This is also the same Dr. Mbenga who we will see in Strange New Worlds. And I have a lot of
Really?
questions about this character, and none of them have been answered yet because he is shown to be the chief medical officer aboard the Enterprise when Captain Pike is in charge. And
Really?
presumably, like I just assumed he retired, but yes, this is one of two appearances of Dr. Mbenga in the original series. And I'm like, so did he take a demotion or was Bones just higher ranked at that point? Like, and it's implied, it's very loosely implied that he was actually recruited by Dr. McCoy after operating on Spock and not knowing a lot about Vulcan physiology.
Well, he says that Mbagu? Am I doing that right?
Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Mbenga.
Mbenga. The impression I got was he is the specialist.
Right, but he was
Because like
brought
up until
in.
that point,
But he was chief medical officer aboard the Enterprise. That's the thing.
that's confusing. Because having not known that, just purely being the person who's watching this for the first time, I assumed that he was hired because of all the times that McCoy went, I don't know Vulcan biology, and then he hired the guy who knows Vulcan biology. You know, like he's like I don't know, like an optometrist.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like that totally makes sense, but it's like you don't I mean, I'm sure it's happened somewhere, but you don't typically see a chief of medicine at a hospital step down to do specialist work elsewhere.
I mean, I'm gonna say I agree with you, but also I've watched enough medical dramas where that happens, where they're like,
Really?
I can't handle the stress of being a chief doctor, so I'm gonna step down and I'm gonna put you, main character, as the main guy now. But to be fair, that's television.
What medical
So
drama?
like
I've never seen that happen.
the good doctor was like that. There was a
Oh, I
point
haven't gotten there
where
yet. Wait, they
yeah,
gave it to Sean?
I think so, but
sounds
I
like
think
a-
by the end of
That sounds like a horrible idea.
by the end of that show, he's got 2 kids. He's married to the girl, and
Yeah.
he's like in charge. He's like the chief medical officer.
That seems like a very horrible idea.
I don't know how it happens. I've only ever watched clips from the finale out of context, but
because
that
it's because it's in the script, Justin.
Yeah, I was fascinated. The least believable part with that is that he's still with her by the end of the series. Like they get together in season 2. Sorry, that's mean. I
Oh, and
should have said
she's
that.
horrible. She's just awful. At
She's
least what
awful.
I've seen of her. I don't. To be fair, I haven't made it that far. I stopped watching
Yeah.
because, like most medical dramas, it becomes repetitive.
Well, I've never been able to stick with a medical drama because for whatever reason, unlike police dramas where, yeah, Law and Order feels unrealistic, but for whatever reason, it still feels more realistic than medical dramas do. And my suspension of just disbelief just can't do it. So I usually get 2 seasons in and I'm like, I can't take this. That's what happened with The Good Doctor. I got 2 seasons in and I was like, I can't. I just don't believe they would keep this guy hired on. I just don't. And my
Right,
sleep.
not saying not saying he's not a good doctor. He demonstrates that he is, but there's more to it than that. Like you can't have a doctor going around with no bedside manner. Like
Yeah.
you'll get too many bad reviews, and as we all know, bad reviews are just
I mean, you imagine the bad Yelp reviews he's getting on that hospital?
or like
Probably terminal.
ratemydoc.org.
Hey, in Canada we have ratemyprofessor.org, so it's
We have
believable.
something similar.
Yeah,
Do they
yeah.
give like 1 out of 5 apples?
I can't remember. It's a weird website when you know the professor who's being rated and you see like a 1-star review and you're like, oh, but that seems unfair. He's a nice guy. I've
Yeah,
hung out with him.
you were clearly in the wrong class.
Right? Right? It's like, oh, yeah, that feels unfair. I know the guy. He's nicer than that. Anyway.
A friendly group of hill people arrive and take Kirk and McCoy to their camp, where Kirk discovers that his friend Tyree is now their leader. Tyree is married to Nona, a Kanutu woman who can cure the Mugato bite. Nona has been urging Tyree to acquire firearms for their tribe. On hearing of Kirk's arrival, Nona enters the cave and spies McCoy using his phaser to heat rocks. Nona is intrigued and quizzes Tyree about the mysterious guests. She proceeds to treat Kirk, pressing a mako root into his injury with her hand, which was cut with a knife just before the ritual began. At the conclusion of the ritual, she claims that Kirk is now hers, and Tyree explains that, according to legend, he will be unable to refuse her anything as a result of the treatment. The injuries to Kirk and Nona's hand are shown to be completely healed. Fun fact, Nona uses the same dagger from The Wolf in the Fold.
That is a fun fact. Okay. Okay, we need to talk about Nona. We need to talk about Nona.
You need no nonsense other than them leather pants in a tropical, and well, I guess it's not a tropical climate, but it seems wholly impractical.
Okay. Well, I mean, immediately I was like, "Is this offensive?" It felt offensive, and then just, oh no, oh, so she's drugging him. This is date rape, right? It sure feels like date rape.
I don't, not yet. It comes. Believe me, it comes. I don't think we're there
Well,
yet.
To what she was doing to Tyrese, he was like every time he seemed like
Oh,
remotely,
right,
he's like
Tyree.
rubbing him with his
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
and he's like, it's like this feels non-consensual.
Yeah,
And
at
then
that
I just
moment. Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
I forgot about Tyree. I was focused on Kirk, just like
yeah,
she
yeah.
was.
Just like she was. Just a note of those are some tight leather pants. Um, I enjoyed the moment where she introduced herself as Tyrese's woman and didn't bother to give her name. Apparently, this woman does magic, both magic and manicures, as she has a perfect French manicure on a far off planet. That's kind of interesting.
Well, I don't know that
Was
she does them, but somebody in the village must.
somebody in the tribe clearly knows cuticle care. Was the healing technique oddly sexual, or was it just me?
Both.
Both? Both? All right. All right. No, no, fair enough.
It was definitely
Um,
oddly sexual, but you noticed it, which says a lot about you.
I suppose it does. My when Kirk wakes up and he's like, Bones, I had the strangest dream. I bet you did. Um, and then I just said, Nona is too tall and not nearly blonde enough for Kirk.
Yeah, but this one was chemically induced.
That is suppose that's true. Yeah. Yeah. And then, yeah, the note of the Dr. I'm going to always forget the name. He's kind of a
Mbenga.
dick. And Benga. He's kind of a
Oh, for sure. Yeah, now I can't wait to see him because I guess he's like a really compassionate man in Strange New Worlds, and I'm like, huh, hell of a retcon.
Right? That is one hell of a retcon. And then I don't know who said it, but someone says a man never grows. And obviously, and I think you know,
That's what she said.
When Kirk recovers, he asks Tyree about the villagers' weapons. Tyree tells him he saw them for the first time a year ago and believed the villagers were making them. Kirk and McCoy decide to sneak into the village that night. Once there, they locate a forge in which they find a chrome steel drill and virtually carbon-free iron, evidence of outsiders' involvement. Soon a Klingon appears with the village leader, who discuss the manufacture of improved weapons. Kirk and McCoy surprise and overpower them, taking a flintlock weapon and escaping with Tyree's help. So, fun fact, in Don Ingalls' original story outline, the Klingon antagonist was Kor from Errand of Mercy. The first Klingon we meet. This is actually the second time that Kor was supposed to make another appearance in the series, but due to rewrites or the actor not being available, another Klingon character was created for the role. The other one will be in Day of the Dove, where we meet Kang, who incidentally is the third Klingon who will reappear with the original actor as the same character in Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
I will say this Klingon, it's starting to look more Klingon-like.
Yeah,
it's starting to feel more Klingon-like.
They do from this point, for sure.
Yeah. I even appreciated how he was pronouncing the word Klingon correctly. I was like, oh, good for him. He's getting the word right. I just had a note that was like, hey, look, it's Gene Shalit. And I went, the only reason why I get that joke is because of that one bit from Family Guy where Peter he can turn into other people. And he's getting the hair from Justin Timberlake, and he's Britney Spears, and he's like,
"Hey, come here, give me a kiss." Ah! I'm Gene Shalit now. Bye.
That's the only reason I know who Gene Shalit is. Otherwise, I would have no idea who he is. I don't even know who he is beyond that one reference.
Speaking of references, I am so thankful that you brought up the "I'm Spartacus" because I actually watched that clip, and I'm like, this is funny.
It's really good.
Because
that whole episode's a gem.
Because when you said it, I had no context for what the bit was, but then.
Oh really? Oh, that's so funny.
Well, no, because you didn't say you didn't say what the prompt was. You just said "I'm Spartacus" in a weird.
I'm Spartacus. So good. That whole. I believe that's the episode with Robin Williams, right?
It is.
Yeah.
He does a couple of really good ones too. I forget, but.
That episode is particularly funny because it's when he was filming 1 Hour Photo. So just for no reason, he's like a beach blonde for no reason.
Yeah.
It's so funny. So funny.
And we also learned in this episode that apparently Spock likes it rough.
Harder. I mean, I just have a note that's like he took those slaps like a champ. I did think it was odd at first how every time she slapped him, it would like not show her slapping him, but then it did show her slapping him. So I was like, the scene is framed weirdly.
The whole bit is framed weirdly, but also Doctor really could have given her a heads up about the whole hitting him thing.
Right.
That felt like a real move.
Well, it's the fact that, see, it's not so much that she's doing it, Scotty walks in and is like, what are you doing? It's the fact that she does it, Scotty walks in and goes, what are you doing? And then the Doctor immediately sets this fucking shit out of him as well. So fun. It doesn't explain anything. What are you both doing? You look insane.
It's the airplane gag 20 some odd years before Airplane.
It totally is. It totally is.
Well, no, I just mean like the only thing he tells her, and there had to be some strange sadistic joy he got out of that gotcha moment where he's just like, when he wakes up, do whatever he says. And it's like, you could have just been like, hey, no, this is going to sound super weird, but when he starts to regain consciousness, he's going to ask you to hit him. You need to do this because it's a Vulcan self-healing technique, but he's got to be snapped out of it, and he knows this.
He had the time. He had plenty of time to give her the heads up. It wasn't like it came out of nowhere. Like he left. He could have, as he left, been like, "Hey, just FYI, this is what's about to happen."
It's like, listen, this is going to be super weird, but if he's ever been mean to you, here's your payback chance.
This is the time. This is the time to take it out. You know,
that's what we always say in Krav Maga. It's like, hey, just be aware your partner's going to get a turn, so be nice.
Yeah, exactly. I think that makes sense. That feels fair.
The next day, Kirk shows the Hill people how to use the flintlock musket, but Tyree refuses to handle it. McCoy protests, but Kirk counters that both warring parties must be put on an equal footing if both are to survive. I mean, I get what he's saying, but the wording of that is just morbidly hilarious because it's like, listen, if they're all going to survive, they all have to be able to kill each other the same way.
Yeah, well, that was his Kirk takes a turn into a weird perspective that they never resolve. I mean, the moment where he just straight up directly references Vietnam, At least it sure felt
Yeah.
like he was directly referencing
No,
Vietnam.
that was so thinly veiled, like most people would not have seen the veil. Like
It's like,
I'm
oh,
not
how's the
for
music
not
go?
not for nothing. If there were new episodes of the Orville on, which I wish there were, but there aren't right now. But if they were to come on and do an episode talking about, say, a preemptive strike on an alien enemy that there's evidence of them producing an antimatter bomb of unsurpassed scale, and then there are questions about whether or not the Union should go enter a war just because Mockless says that an enemy has a weapon. I think like 80% of the people who watch that episode that are over the age of 10 would probably understand the reference.
They'd be like, "Why is Mocklet?" Never mind. Yeah, yeah. This is one of those weird moments where if you forget that this is in the 1960s, it feels less on the nose. But
Mm-hmm.
because it's in the 1960s, it is tremendously on the
Well,
nose.
because today writing, I mean, even by the time we get to MASH, which was, well, I mean that,
Korean War.
well, it took place, but they were talking about Vietnam.
Were they? Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah. So I guess that's not even a good comparison, but you know what I mean. Like today, that would be a reference to Vietnam, but it's not as powerful because, like, if it were on a TV show today, they'd just be like, "Oh yeah, they're talking about Vietnam, that thing that happened."
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like it
But
would be. Like,
it was happening then, and it was kind of
yeah.
sort of just starting. Well, like I mean, what they were. I forget how many years in they were. No, this was in the thick of it. I'm sorry, I got my years mixed up.
I'm not super familiar. I've joked about this before, but it's the absolute truth. In Canadian history class, they kind of go World War I, World War II, whoopsie poopsie, and then they move on. Like they don't
Well,
really.
yeah, they do that in U.S. history classes too. We still don't really like to acknowledge Vietnam. It's like it's a thing that happened, but we're not going to go into the why.
The only thing I've gathered from watching movies about Vietnam is bad happened there. It traumatized you guys really badly, and you guys don't want to talk about it.
I mean, yeah, it's still
the three
it's
things.
listen, when Grandpa was younger, he did some shit.
Yeah. It was like the Vietnam War vets are particularly unstable for reasons that they don't want to. Like I've seen Deer Hunter, I've seen Platoon. Like they all seem to be having a bad time in those movies. The other bit of this that was shocking to me, yeah, that was, I mean, you've already referenced it, but it was Kirk being pro arms race.
Okay, so there is a bit of nuance here, and I actually have a note that says the argument. No, there is because I actually have a note that says the argument is scary because there is some truth to it. So Kirk's perspective is skewed because the side that he likes doesn't have the advantage.
Oh, okay, that's interesting way to put
And
it.
he
That's interesting.
simply wants to bring that, which I mean, this is the whole Vietnam thing, right? The side we like doesn't have the advantage, so we want to give them the advantage. Now,
Right.
at least Kirk is dialing it back and at least saying we want them on equal footing, which, okay, in a vacuum especially, you can make an argument for that and say, listen, if one side is interfering, if an opposing power is interfering with the other side,
Then that's just going to cause an escalation.
well,
like
yeah,
escalation.
that's the whole Hobbesian, you know.
Because okay, Kirk gives them the flintlock pistols. We're jumping ahead. We're gonna get to the ending, but what's stopping the Klingons from coming back and giving them laser guns?
Well, eventually that's what's going to now see. My question is, why are the Klingons? I guess to avoid detection.
I guess.
But I mean, but to your point, yeah, why don't the Klingons just go down there and give them disruptors, and the whole thing's over anyway?
Right. I guess maybe because they want it. They figured their society is too basic. We'll get there. We'll talk about the overallness of this.
Well, but it seems very reserved for Klingons to do. That feels more like a Romulan thing.
A little bit. Yeah. Well, it matches up with how Klingons have been thus far.
This is true. I'm
skewed.
I'm skewed by the how Klingons are in later. But I mean, honestly, Klingons wouldn't even bother. They'd just come down and be like, we rule all of you now.
Yes, yeah. I was gonna say Klingons seem kind of the type where they'd be like, "Do you have valuable resources? We're just gonna take those resources."
Now, I do believe, and I could be wrong here, but I do believe the Klingon Empire at this point is in a fairly weak state of affairs, but they aren't publicizing that, which might be why there's less. This is retconned, obviously, because right now they're Soviet coded.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, you're right. They are. They absolutely are. Yeah, that's how I would say. Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely. It's certainly in this context they are.
In this episode there's not even context. It's just like they're the Russians and we're the Americans and we got to save the white people. I don't know why Spartacus came back.
Spartacus.
But we already touched it. Kirk brings up the brush wars in Southeast Asia, and I'm like, oh wow, we're just talking about Vietnam out in the open.
We're just saying the thing. I know, right?
1968.
Like, yeah, that's the thing. It's just such an important thing to remember that is a contemporary reference, right? Like, he's just saying it. He's just saying it.
Well,
and
but
he's making it clear we're on America's side.
Well, and this is the thing. This is one of those episodes you can point to when somebody's like, I hate it when Star Trek gets political. It didn't used to be.
No, very much so. I mean, I like to point out when people are like, Star Trek went woke or whatever, and the Doctor is South African in the 1960s.
Black woman on the bridge in the 1960s.
I mean, it's not, well, yeah, I mean, that
Russian on the bridge in the 1960s.
That as well, but he's got a thick South African accent for a point in history where people are big time racist. Like, that's a big deal. Bigger deal than I think people recognize. So yeah, absolutely. Star Trek was always woke.
And let's not forget the Enterprise 9/11 deal, which you don't know about yet, but it's very much there.
That makes sense.
It is very much there. Trust me.
That makes sense.
It's there. Big space laser takes out Florida. It's there.
That makes sense.
Actually, it's a really sad series of episodes because there's a character who loses his sister in that disaster, and up until he learns that his sister died, it's kind of like it sounds insensitive, but this is how most people who don't have a personal attachment to a tragedy are just kind of like, that's so sad. But then when he learns that his sister dies, he has to come to terms with it, and it's a really powerful arc, actually.
It becomes once you have a personal connection to a tragedy, it's entirely different.
Nona tries to seduce Kirk with the help of local herbs.
Mugato
Attacks Nona, and Kirk disintegrates it with his phaser after taking his damn sweet time. But I will say, I do always appreciate seeing negative consequences for the user of a love potion.
I mean, yeah, just their interaction didn't feel consensual.
Not one bit. But Justin, speaking of attraction, what if I told you there were a way that you could attract bats to your backyard if you so choose? You got a mosquito problem? They're free.
I don't have a backyard, but if I did, I would want bats.
I want to buy one. I'm going to buy one. That and crows. I want to attract crows. But we don't have a crow box, but we do have a bat box. They have owl boxes, though, and bee boxes, which are good if you like your flowers, because you got to save the bees. And you can help
save those bees
by getting yourself a bee box from our friends at Big Bat Box. And link is in the description. Check them out. The thing I like about them, because I've seen other bat boxes before, and don't get me wrong, bat box is better than no bat box, but these at least look really cool. Like, they look decorative. The owl boxes in particular are pretty sweet. But I also like the idea of a painted black bat box because it's like Batman.
I was just going to say it. It sounds like Batman. That sounds sweet.
Sounds like Batman.
You could be like, I am a creature of the night. I am Batman.
I live in the shadows.
I live in the shadows. I'm Batman.
You can say that as you put your as you put your bat box up. You can be like, Justice.
I'm just saying, Bruce Wayne would have bought a bat box.
I mean, technically, he already had one. He calls it the Bat Cave.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
He made a whole cave of them.
It's true. He has a bat cave. He has several bat boxes.
Alfred's like, you received another bat box? They're good. 1,200. Nice.
Nice.
Oh, thank you, Christian Bale, for giving us whatever that was. And thank you for Big Bat Box for sponsoring this episode and providing all of us wildlife lovers a way to help our furry nocturnal friends eat all those pesky mosquitoes who should be sent straight to hell.
It's true.
Nona then knocks Kirk unconscious with a rock, flees with his phaser, and coming upon a group of villagers offers them the weapon for reasons.
Yeah, I wasn't clear on her loyalty to what. She's shifty the whole episode, and you, like, her betraying them is not really all that surprising. But I couldn't tell. So is she her own faction? Why did she just change sides out of nowhere? Like,
I think she just likes violence, Justin.
I choose violence.
I mean, she certainly likes a certain kind of violence.
Ugh.
Ugh. I mean, I respected her for running around in her bare feet the whole time. Not even just the character herself, but the actress. I was like, as a man who has weak baby feet, like that would be uncomfortable for me.
They're like little baby toes.
My mom's partner makes fun of me every time we go to Mexico because I'm like on the beach being like, ow, 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 ow.
That's okay. I stubbed my toe 3 times today.
Ow.
And dropped my keys on my foot.
Oh, also the worst.
It's not been a great day for my feet, but not believing her story, they assault her. They attempt to Well, no, I guess they do assault her.
Oh man, that scene was uncomfy. I have multiple notes of this scene's uncomfy. That is very much a non-consensual 1960s kiss.
It also goes on for way too long.
There's so many attempts at like tearing at her clothes, and I was like, why is this the second time this has happened to us?
In this
but
episode,
like this
right?
time it's on screen and it's worse.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Just when you thought it couldn't get worse,
it does. It's like the way he kisses her, and you're like, oh, that is not consensual. That is not okay.
It's 1960s and it's weird.
And it's weird, and there's implications, and it's a good thing Kirk got there. And I couldn't think of a way to wrap up the uncomfortableness other than to be like, Kirk was about to get stoned and not in a fun way.
I mean, he already got stoned in a not fun way.
That is
right in the back of the head.
True. Right in the back of the head.
When Kirk, McCoy, and Tyree appear, the villagers believe she has led them into a trap and kill her. The two groups fight, and the villagers run away. Yeah, then they just straight up stab her, and I'm like, oh,
all right then.
That was abrupt. Not entirely undeserved, but I mean.
That is fair. I feel like she was going to continue to cause. It's her a lot. The word I would use to describe this episode in a nutshell is incomplete, because her character arc is weirdly incomplete. Because at the beginning, it seems to be implied that she's a
major force in what's going on, and then she just exit.
We were calling Mary Magdalene Yoko all last week, but she's basically Star Trek Yoko in this episode. And it's just like the entire gag seems to be that she's manipulating the guy into becoming chief, and then she turns to manipulate Kirk, and then her story ends with her getting stabbed, and then nothing becomes of it. Like nothing. I guess you could argue that that's consequences for her manipulative behavior, but also not really. There isn't. I don't. It was weird. It was weirdly rushed. It felt weird and rushed. When you're like somebody came in and made rewrites, it has that vibe to it.
Very much so.
She must have had a different ending or something, or because there's a lot of weird mixed metaphors at the end that we're no doubt going to talk about. And yeah, his reaction to her being dead felt oddly cold. He's just like, well, it needed to happen. You mean her death?
He did see her making out with his buddy.
I mean, that is true.
I mean, but to Tyree's credit, he didn't shoot anybody.
No. It made me think of that Larry the Cable Guy joke where it's the man's out hunting and his friend sees that his wife is cheating on him, and he's like, shoot her in the head and him in the groin, and he's like, if I work right now I can get them both at the same time.
Oh,
so that's what it made me think of. It's like, oh, if I can get them both at the same time.
Took me a minute, but I got that.
That's what makes that joke funny. It's the only time I've ever laughed at Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah, and just another note. This is where McCoy gets shot. There's no way that McCoy, after being shot with a flintlock musket, regardless of the type of ammunition it uses, although some are worse than others, he would not have just gone, ow, and then have like just a little blood. His bones would have been broken. In all
flintlock pistols. That's again. Those were brutal. Those were brutal shots. Like, Also, weren't most of them made out of lead? Like there's a chance you get lead poisoning as well.
Depending on the time period, it may have been depending on how advanced they got. Oh no, because it wasn't a rifled barrel, so yeah, it would have been a lead ball. Because the Klingon mentions next time I'll bring you a rifled barrel, and the guy's like, "What's that?" And he's like, "I'll explain later."
Don't you worry, Sonny boy. We'll get you hooked up.
Yeah. So yeah, they were theoretically lead balls or steel balls because they may not have been using lead.
Well, it is weird that like
iron balls,
Spock gets shot. I didn't even notice that he got shot. I guess I was so fixated on the woman dying that I completely missed it. But considering it splattered Spock's green blood, which was impressive, an impressive bit of violence. Yeah, him just shrugging it off. No, he would be in excruciating pain.
Yeah, well, not to mention that arm would be functionally useless until he got back to the Enterprise. But I mean, somebody in the comments is going to say, yeah, but it could have been a ricochet. It's like, not really, because they were pointing the gun straight at him. But okay, maybe, but no.
Maybe, but no.
Because they're in a wide open field. The only rocks are behind them. There's nothing for it to bounce off of.
Unless I'm like drastically misremembering my limited knowledge on flintlock pistols, which is entirely possible.
No, I mean, any musket is gonna use ammunition that's just like that wound is inconsistent with even like a 22 caliber.
That is true.
I mean, no.
That's true. No.
And at one Bones like holds it, and then at one point he's like using the arm just fine, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
I get it. 1960s, they don't want to show gore, but why is Bones shot? Like, just don't put it in the script.
Just don't have him get shot. It doesn't really add anything to the end of the episode. I mean, the ending of the episode's not very good anyway, but it doesn't add anything.
No, but it does give us a fun trivia fact that we'll get to in a moment. But Tyree now demands more fire stick weapons to avenge his wife's death. Kirk reluctantly orders Scott to manufacture and beam down 100 flintlocks for the tribesmen. Scotty questions the unusual order, and Kirk clarifies that he needs
100 serpents.
And at one point, Bones makes the joke that you can't kill a computer. Actually, you can. Kirk has done so on several occasions. I mean, clearly, Bones has never watched the cult classic film Office Space, which I know they do it to a printer, but
I mean, it's the same thing.
It's computer-esque.
It's computer adjacent, certainly.
He's never seen Parks and Rec and Ron Swanson after he finds out that cookies are on the internet and what they do.
Hey, look, if you think you can't kill, I mean, to be fair to Bones, this is well before LimeWire. Because if you've never given your computer age to get an MP3 player, what do you even? Are you a child of the 2000s?
You clearly didn't. Actually, I never used LimeWire. I was always too scared.
Really? Oh man, I killed multiple computers with LimeWire.
Well, because here's what you have to
understand. Used to piss my dad off so bad. He'd like stop downloading stuff through LimeWire.
I didn't have high-speed internet until I had heard all kinds of horror stories about LimeWire, so I never used it.
That's sensible. That is sensible. I mean, that was the culmination of, as you already described it, the weird Spock subplot where it cuts back to him sitting in the chair being like, "Did you think I wouldn't be fine?" That's weird. He was bleeding out. This is a tonally very strange moment.
Yeah, see, Spock's wound makes sense. A lot of blood on both sides. Yeah, that right? Would be typical. I love how Spock's like, "I can travel," and I'm like, "No, you can't. You've been shot in the back with a musket."
Right. The weirdest part of that end bit was Scotty standing there grinning like a dope when both Kirk and Bones can't see him. Why are you grinning like a dope, Scotty? Also, was it just me, or does he not know what flintlock pistols are?
No, I mean he does. He's just like, why do we need flintlock?
Oh, okay, that was maybe a weirdly framed. Also, you referenced the Garden of Eden snakes thing. Now, that felt like a bad analogy. These don't feel like the snakes. It doesn't really seem like it's, apart from a physical description maybe being similar. The connection between the Garden of Eden feels tenuous at best, and I'm starting to doubt whether or not Kirk has ever actually read the story of Adam and Eve.
It's the serpent in the sense that that's the source of corruption of the Garden of Eden. But yeah, they're doing some Armstrong level stretching.
It's not as bad as the previous time where it's just straight up wasn't the Garden of Eden and he kept trying to compare it to it.
Yeah, it's a Garden of Eden that will kill you.
right? It's not the. I don't think it's the Garden of Eden. Kirk,
Well,
maybe like
not to mention
watch
Kirk
it
and
on your Bible.
Kirk falls in love with a man in that Garden of Eden. So right out of the gate,
This is true. It's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
well, maybe on that planet it is Adam and Steve.
That is true. It could. Space is broad. It could be. I'm not saying it's not.
The Mugatu was called the Gumatu in the original script, but DeForest Kelly kept mispronouncing it, so it was changed. If you look in the closing credits, the name is still Gumatu.
That's funny. So you said that Gene Roddenberry made this better?
Yeah, based on what I saw, obviously I didn't read the script, but there were elements of it that seems like that would have been a lot worse.
Interesting, because man, I think it's better than last week's in the sense that stuff happened, but
I mean, there is
did
that.
good stuff happen? That's the question. Well, I was just gonna say, is this now the most problematic episode?
For a minute.
Right?
Because believe me,
Yeah.
not the oh actually no, not the next one, but the one after that. Ooh.
You should make a very convincing Nazi.
Interesting. All right. Okay, fair. That's fair.
It
That's
will
fair.
be for a very short time. And I still don't know that it's the most problematic episode. I still think the slavery planet kind of takes that cake still. But
Yeah, you're not wrong.
it's
You're not wrong.
you could make the argument. I'll put it to you that way. Depending on your perspective, this may be the most problematic episode today.
That is fair. That's fair.
Because it uses plants.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. There seems to be less consent in this, which makes it. But I could see. Yeah, the slavery stuff is uncomfortable. That
Well,
is fair.
there's no consent in slavery.
That is true.
This is also the only episode in season 2 to not have happy ending music.
Huh. I mean, one would argue it does not have a happy ending.
Well, I mean, yeah, but that's why they didn't lead out with the Star Trek sitcom end theme.
That is true. There's a couple of Star Trek sitcom moments in this that felt weird and inappropriate.
This is also the only episode in which Spock and Kirk are both incapacitated in 2 separate incidents with different causes for an overlapping time period. And here's that trivia fact I said put a pin in. This episode was rare in that all 3 members of the landing party, Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, were all wounded at some point. Spock was shot in the back by the villagers, Kirk was poisoned by the Mugatu bite, and McCoy was shot in the left arm during the dramatic fight scene at the end of the episode.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a good point.
So it's
Valid,
it's very
solid
fun.
point.
Well, our red shirt, I kind of surprised we didn't see a single red shirt fatality, but
I kind of would have liked her to have Black Widowed a red shirt.
that would have been, I mean, that just would have made it even more problematic. But our red shirt tally remains at 21 and has stayed the same for a little while now, starting to get dusty.
Although I will say, she was wearing a red shirt.
Red trimming.
Oh, that's true. That is true. It doesn't count.
No,
Not red
and it was
enough.
more. I viewed it as more orange, but
I can see why you would say that. Yeah, that's fair.
yeah. But Justin, well, not Justin, you, the royal you, join us next week when we watch and go over the episode Return to Tomorrow. And Justin, as per tradition, would you like to take a guess at what we will see in Return to Tomorrow?
So, okay. With a title like Return to Tomorrow, that just suggests to me we're doing time travel again. So I'm gonna guess it's a time loop episode. It's Groundhog Day. We're doing a Groundhog Day.
No.
No. Oh. No. Okay. See,
Although
I thought time travel because
funnily enough, they do that in Star Trek Discovery, and Harry Mudd is involved.
that's funny. That is funny. See, because I heard Return to Tomorrow, and then that felt like a callback to the City on the Edge of Tomorrow.
Well, that episode's The City on the Edge of Forever, but
Edge of Forever. Oh, okay, no, fair enough. That's fair enough. I don't know. I felt that this title felt like a callback. So I was like, maybe it's time travel. So it is
Nope.
not time travel.
Nope. And just to let everybody know and to further apologize, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 episodes from now, we will get the aliens that recite the beginning of the Constitution, the preamble of the Constitution of the United States. It's coming, but I got them mixed up. And you'll see why I got them mixed up when we get there. Very
That's
similar.
fine.
Well,
Okay.
everybody, join us next week when we talk about Return to Tomorrow. And until then, subscribe to Paramount Plus, watch the episodes along with us, and watch long and prosper. And buy a bat box, because summer's coming. Spring's already here.
It's true.
They need your help.
It's true.
The bats need you to, elevate them so that they can fight the mosquitoes on equal footing.
It's true. Gotta keep those bats fed so they can eat the mosquitoes for you.
Yeah, because if you
don't
don't,
have
the
to.
mosquitoes will win and communism will take over.
Oh no, I can do better. You have to let the bats eat the mosquitoes so the mosquitoes don't eat you.
Not to be that guy, but to correct Mr. Spock, if a planet's atmosphere is gone, it is no longer a Class M planet.
I order you to eject your consciousness into that orb.
So this episode literally becomes a Deus Ex Machina.